very few people are aware of the unsolved mystery behind Pan Am Flight 914, which disappeared from the radar without any sign for decades and reappeared after 37 years. Imagine you took a week off from your busy work schedule in New York, and you decided to spend the next 6 days on an amazing trip to Miami, hoping to relax and unwind. You book your flight with your 4 friends, pack your bags, and board Flight 914. But what happens is, instead of reaching Miami, your flight ended up landing in the capital of Venezuela, called Caracas, 37 years later. Is it possible that Pan Am Flight 914 actually went through a teleportation gateway, which the government did not want anyone to know about? Let's find out whether it was actually an experiment with teleportation, and Flight 914 was chosen as a candidate. To understand the mystery behind it, watch the video till the end. But first, we must teleport ourselves inside Flight 914 and understand what actually happened. Don't forget to show us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel, Insight, to stay updated on future videos. Let's begin. This was the actual situation that might have happened with some of the 57 passengers and 6 crew members on July 2nd, 1955, who boarded the Pan Am Flight 914 from New York, but landed 37 years later in Caracas on September 9, 1992. Some boarded the flight for business purposes, some for travel, but not even a single passenger was aware that they might get stuck in the parallel universe without realizing anything about it. As soon as the flight took off from New York, it disappeared from the radar within 1 hour. After a search and rescue mission conducted for months by the U.S. government, no sign of the flight was found, and the authorities were forced to declare passengers dead during the plane crash. Many experts suggested the plane might have crashed into the ocean, which is making it hard for the authorities to find the missing parts of the plane. September 9, 1992. Every flight was proceeding according to schedule in the busy airport of Caracas, Venezuela, when suddenly a flight emerges out of nowhere on the radar of the air traffic controller of Caracas, Juan de la Corte. The air traffic controller of that time, at first, thought of it as an alien object, but when he suddenly heard the pilot asking, "Where are we?" Juan responded confusingly, "You are about to land in Caracas, Venezuela." The pilot responded astonishingly, "We are Pan American Airways Flight 914 from New York to Miami, and we are scheduled to land in Miami at 9:55 a.m. But the traffic controller tried to convince the pilot that he was not mistaken, and they were about to land in Caracas, Venezuela. In order to completely believe the words of the traffic controller, the pilot landed the flight at Caracas, and after clearing off all his queries, he took off the flight again and went ahead. It was after this moment, many channels and news groups were blamed for adding fictional stories to the incident when the flight landed. Some said the pilot dropped a calendar from the window, which belonged to July 2nd, 1955, and quickly took off. Some said the government of the United States and Venezuela took the calendar and never disclosed anything about it to the public. Some said the flight, after taking off from Caracas, went directly to New York, and the passengers met with their families happily ever after. It was also claimed that the appearance of the passengers was the same as it was in 1955, and they were 37 years younger than the rest of the family members. The wordings of Juan de la Corte, which is the main evidence of the incident, backed by a newspaper article published by Weekly World News. And as per the expert physicists, the flight became part of a wormhole, or time travel portal, which the pilot was unaware of. If we dive into the first theory, after finding out where he was, and immediately took off by dropping a calendar from 1955, then it is fake. Because intentionally dropping a calendar from 1955 just to prove from which time he was sounds like a made-up story. and a calendar was an extremely important part of life for everyone during 1955. It seems valid that the pilot would not throw it intentionally. But yes, it could be accepted that it must have fallen mistakenly. In the second theory, it is acceptable that if the calendar fell by mistake, and Caracas authorities must have informed about this unusual event to the U.S. government, this adds to the fact that the U.S. government could keep this calendar safely as the only evidence, keeping in mind the secretive nature of the U.S. government, like Area 51. In the third theory, it is claimed that the flight went back to New York and the passengers met with their family, but their appearance is 37 years younger than their family members. But the actual question is, why didn't any of the passengers or their family members come forward and explain what happened when they were gone? As digital cameras like Canon were present during that period, it would have been made easier to explain the event. In the fourth theory, the most important evidence explained by the main eyewitness was the air traffic controller, Juan de la Corte. He also explained that when the flight landed, he saw the passengers through the window, feeling extremely surprised by seeing the modern airport of 1992. As the air traffic controller told the pilot that he called the ground team for help and to remain calm, the pilot, without waiting for anyone, took off and soon disappeared off the radar again. The photo and the actual statement of Juan de la Corte was covered in an article published by Weekly World News in 1992. His statement, step by step in the article, proves the incident was real. Here are some of his official statements from the article. I saw the aircraft. I heard the pilot. I held the calendar and I still can't believe it. I told them to stay calm. I told them we are sending a ground crew. They started taxiing onto the runway, and seconds later they were airborne and literally vanished. I could hear people screaming from the plane. All these statements prove he was not making up the story and actually saw what he was saying. The fifth theory, which adds more credibility to this event, is about a wormhole, which, though can't be seen, but is present in different points in the sky. And if any object passes through it, it can reach anywhere else in the world in seconds. One of the greatest scientists who also backed the concept of wormhole or teleportation, Nikola Tesla. And the interesting fact to notice is that knowledge regarding teleportation was provided by Nikola Tesla 107 years ago. And the proof of concept with the help of science was provided by Einstein 86 years ago. They even explained how teleportation is possible. According to Tesla and Einstein, teleportation is possible by using octahedron crystals that should be tuned precisely and must be connected with devices that multiply the crystals. This, with the support of information technology, can help in transportation of physical objects to anywhere in the world in seconds. The most important fact is that the discovery was made 107 years ago. Nikola Tesla even mentioned the steps that should be adopted during teleportation, like intelligence, information, waves, technology, antenna requirement, metaphysical antenna, signal and octahedron crystal, teleporter, landing zone. If you look closely, it proves that Flight 914 went through a teleportation gateway because the distance between a flight from New York to Caracas is 8 hours, and between New York and Miami is 2 hours, 47 minutes. Maybe the US has mastered the technique of teleportation, but why would the military of any country declare to the world that they have mastered teleportation or can teleport people from one place to another in seconds? Each country wants to keep their secrets to themselves, including their own citizens. Recently, it was also revealed by the US government that they have a 60,000 person strong American secret army currently present in every country, which can speak any language, have perfectly mastered technology, know how to hack the system, and even know how to break the system in hours. But the US government refused to declare their details. It is true that people love hearing about unsolved mysteries because our own minds have the amazing ability to dive into the unending, imaginative world. But the most important thing, which should be remembered, is that the news about the mystery of Flight 914 was published by a renowned news agency called Weekly World News. It is the duty of a news agency to think, investigate, and discuss before publishing anything to the public. And every news agency cares about its reputation. This proves that before publishing anything about Flight 914, they were aware it was not fake. Publishing any content, especially from a news agency, which is fake or for entertainment purposes as a joke, can lead people into questioning their existence, or can result in banning such news agencies by the government. But the Weekly World News still continues to live with pride. Not to forget, the teleportation concepts shown in the movies, like Avengers Endgame or Doctor Strange, is also a part of human creation, and as the human mind is considered the most powerful of them all, it can create anything it wants. What do you think of this mystery? Tell us in the comments section below, and don't forget to press like and subscribe to our channel, Insight. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next video.